stomping grass. We played the songs and felt the London sky. Resting on our hands, it was God's land. It was rugged and naive. It was heaven. We touched the very soul of holding each and every life. We claim the very source of joy ran through. It didn't, but it seemed that way. I kissed a lot of people that day. Mm-hmm. Hoka, hey, hey, hey. BOOZHOO! Mino Odagoshin. Good evening. Good evening, BOOZHOO crew. And welcome back to the show. Welcome back to BOOZHOO NANABOOZHOO, the podcast about Ojibwe language and culture. My name is Natasha, and tonight I just thought I'd step outside, say a little Sunday night prayer. I'm going to say a little prayer, put out my tobacco. I'm going to commune with the Great Spirit. I'm going to hang out with Joan Frame, Tracy Wilkie, Mino Onagoshin, and Wally Bear. Oh, for crying out loud, Wally Bear. MJ's here. BOOZHOO MJ. Curtis Mills. Tracy Wilkie. Oh, I gotta pray for that old John Redcorn. Get your money, please. Protect John Redcorn from evil. BOOZHOO John. Jimmy Jams. What's going on, Jimmy Jams? And Jim Dunn's back. Well, hello, Jim. All right. Sunday night prayer. Sunday in Ojibwe is a prayer day. Anama e Gisha Gud. Thought I had it here. No? Anima e Gisha Gud. Prayer day. So you gotta say your prayers. Say your prayers. Look out. That's what they always say, right? The old westerns. Right before the guy would shoot you. Say your prayers. So, okay, hang on. Our Father who art in heaven. If I lived in the Wild West and a cowboy came up and was like, say your prayers, I'd try to think of the longest prayer I could possibly think of just to buy time. And then I'd pray for a gun of my own. Heavenly Father, please give me a gun. I could shoot this guy before he shoots me. But anyway. So tonight, Onagoshin, this evening, Gishi Onagoshin, I offer my tobacco, a sema, to Great Spirit, Gitchi Manadu. BOOZHOO, Gitchi Manadu. Anin. What's going on? Anin, Ashi Ayan, how are you? You gotta listen to our prayers every day, but no one ever asks, well, how's God these days? I wonder if he gets tired of hearing all our complaints. Oh, please save me. Oh, please. Protect me from the COVID. Anyway. Get you manadu. Nimi kwechi wendam. I'm thankful. Nimi kwechi wendam. Ka iji bamariziyan. I'm grateful for this life. Thank you for everything that you do today. Mikwech ka iji ka kinageku ka iji chikean nungum. Thank you for healing my grief. Miigwech ga gay niwi gashkando moen. And thank you for listening. Miigwech ga bizandawieg. And thank you for watching BOOZHOO NANABOOZHOO. Na. Apeyenge. Amen. Amen. Oh, P.S. We do wishin' ando minaway onagoshin. Please help me to speak well this evening. Amen. So, ni miigwetchiwandam. I am thankful. I am grateful. Miigwetchiwandam, gratitude. Or miigwetchi wandam iti win? Is that how you say that? But to say I'm thankful, like if you want to put out your tobacco and say, that you're thankful for something, you say, ni miigwetchiwandam, miigwetch, thank you. It's in the word thankful or grateful. Miigwetch. But one of the things I learned in recent years was that I don't even want to be happy anymore. I just want to be grateful. All this time I was like searching for happiness. And I realized, well, what is happiness? Happiness is being thankful for what you got. You can't buy gratitude. Gratitude's something that you kind of figure out. It does, gratitude doesn't come with a dollar amount, And it's also kind of interesting. The more crap you go through, the more stuff you can compare in the past that might have been bad, the more gratitude you can have for what you have. Like if you've ever been arrested, you feel so much gratitude when you get freed. Because you're like, I'm going to complain about, I wish I had more fancy pants on right now. No, you're just happy to be out of jail. Your gratitude. And I've also learned, I heard this, I've said this before, but if there's any kids here, you can either have worry or you can have gratitude. But you can't do both at the same time. So if you ever find yourself having like anxiety and just being a worrywart, always fretting about the future, try to write down the things you're grateful for. Get distracted by the things you're grateful for. So here's a story about my life. Once upon a time, back in the days of the grandfathers, when I was a little girl. Not that little. I was all grown up. But I went on a fast for a day. It was one day I went out in the woods to just pray, smoked a pipe, and I wasn't going to eat any food, drink any water. And I went out there and I sat down in this little spot. And a pipe, and a bunch of cedar and sage and all that. Tobacco ties and the trees, It was all set up. I went out there before the sun came up. And I sat down and I went, okay. Not sure what to call him, my friend. He walked me out there. I knew a guy named Jumbo. He was like, okay, I'm going to bring you out there. I'll come back and get you after the sun comes down. So you can leave the spot if you have to go potty, but otherwise just sit here in this circle all day. And so I went, okay, here we go. And I sat down and, we prayed and he smudged me down, then he left. And I'm sitting out in the woods all by myself. And the sun's starting to come up. And I'm like, what am I going to do? This is going to be a long day. This is going to be boring. Just sitting out here. You can't pray all day. But so I started a gratitude list. And I got it into the first thing on my list brought me to tears. it was so weird. And I think it was because I was in a ceremony. But I was sitting there. I didn't know I would cry. But I was sitting there and I go, okay, all right, GRADITUDE. Thank you for the following things. Number 1, thank you for my eyesight. And just in that moment, I'd been fasting for about, an hour at this point. I'd been awake for like an hour. And when I said those words, something inside of me my heart broke. I was like, oh my God, I can't believe what a gift eyesight is. If you lost your eyesight, that would be like your only problem. You would go, oh no, I'm blind. And I just started crying like a baby. I was like, what's going on? I was so grateful for that first thing on my list. I kind of wiped the tears away and I was like, oh, what was that? And then I went, okay, GRADITUDE. Number 2. And then I said something, oh, I'm glad I can walk or whatever. Nothing. And I listed like 30 things I was thankful for. And nothing else made me cry. It was really weird. But I realized that day that if you truly want to be free of all your worrying and your gripes and your depression, the stuff that, your frustrations, maybe stuff hasn't worked out for you. Maybe a few too many plans have gone wrong, and you're trying to remember of how fine your life used to be. But, if, sometimes the best thing you can do is just start writing down the things you are thankful for. Everything. You can see, you can breathe, you can walk, You've got internet access. You can watch a little puppet show on YouTube on a Sunday night. All the things you can be so grateful for. No. Anyway, I was just thinking about that. And this has been your Natasha's Nabwakawin. Auntie Natasha's wisdom. Take it or leave it. No. Anyway, I gotta go home. What am I doing? It's so pretty here tonight. I can't believe how warm it is. It's like 65 degrees. And the sun is down. It's never this warm this late in October. I can't believe it. Thank you, global warming. I'd been scoffing at global warming. I'm like, that's not real. Well, here we are. And it's great. So long, polar ice caps. I'm loving this warm weather. That's why it's hard to find a proper environmentalist in northern Minnesota. Because somebody tells a guy from Minnesota that, it's going to warm up. He's like, good. That suits me just fine. It's still going to get cold enough to kill the mosquitoes, right? Well, then. Anyway. Boop, boop, boop. Bonjour. Hi, sweetie. Hey, you ready to come home? Yeah, can you teleport me back? Yeah, you got it. Hang on. Let's see now. That would be just one to teleport? Yep, just one. All right, hang on. Let's see. How's this start? You got to say 1 to teleport. All right. 1 to teleport. Make it so, number 1. No. Hey, there she is. Well, hi. How are you? I'm doing great. It is so beautiful outside. Yeah, it's really warm, isn't it? Yeah. Oh, I see you got the window open. Yep. Yeah. Can't believe. Why do we even have a fire on? For the ambience. Yeah, for the ambience. We're fancy like that. Gotta have some of that fancy ambience. So anyway, ladies and gentlemen, NANABOOZHOO. Okay, BOOZHOO. And look over here. In this corner, it's the Rockstar Cartoonist. How you doing, Michael? I'm doing great. How are you? Not too bad. You want to say hi to the BOOZHOO crew? Sure. Hey, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for tuning in. That's what you have to say? Yeah, I don't know. Oh, you're such a natural on air. Yeah. So, what do we got going on here today? Well, I was thinking one of us should tell the story of how the beaver got his tail. Oh, yeah. Weren't we going to do that last night? Yeah, but we ran out of time. I could tell the story, but I think you should tell the story. You want me to do it? Yeah. Okay. What do you think, Michael? Yeah, I think Nanaboo should. He's the storyteller. Yeah, I told a story when I was sitting outside. Oh, really? What'd you talk about? I talked about when I cried. What? Yeah. One day I went on a fast, and I made it about an hour before I was crying. Yeah. So, yeah. So a bunch of Ojibwe words. Can I just teach the Ojibwe words before you tell the story? Yeah, sure. All right. Today's traditional Debajimoan from the storyteller himself, Nanaboozhoo. Traditional story will be about Mick. Mick. Beaver. Although, are we going to talk about how this is really about how a Mick learned to swim? Yeah, if we do this as the video for KAXE, yeah, let's call it how a Mick learned to swim. All right. So Nanaboozhoo is going to talk about Mick the beaver and Wabooz the rabbit. And, Makwa, the bear. These are all characters in the story. Makwa, bear. And Ondeg, crow. Ondeg. All right. That didn't take nearly as long as I thought it would. Yeah. Do you want to take a call? Oh, do we have somebody on the line? No. Well, then, I can't really take a call. You want to sing a song, Michael? Yeah, I could do, we could do Natasha. Oh, I love that song. Here's a song by Michael Lyons, and it's called Natasha. Mikwechka Bizendawieg. Thank you for listening. I never meant one word, I never meant one word, I never meant one word I said. I never meant one word, I never meant one word, I never meant one word I said. Now you're my one, and you're my only regret. I never meant one word, I never meant one word, I never meant one word I said. And I lost my job just the other day, and like everybody else, well, I've got a mountain of bills that need to be paid. Then I lost my way, now I don't know which way to go. But the wind may blow and the grass may grow, for all we know it just might snow. And what'll I do when we become, when when the day is over and the night's begun, what'll I do about me and you? I told you before, we aren't so through. But I never meant one word, I never meant one word, I never meant one word I said. I never meant one word, I never meant one word, I never meant one word I said. And I'm so sorry, I never treat you like that again. I never meant one word, I never meant one word, I never meant one word I said. I used to sit up at night just so I could watch you. I wrote on my bedroom wall, Michael loves Natasha. But I never meant one word, I never meant one word, I never meant one word I said. I never meant one word, I never meant one word, I never meant one word I said. But I'm so sorry, I'd never treat you like that again. I never meant one word, I never meant one word, I never meant one word I said. Wow, that's a sad song. Very nice. It is a sad song, though. Yeah, I know. Ladies and gentlemen, rockstar cartoonist and heartbreak king. Hey, get out of here. Michael Lyons. You know what I was thinking about, sweetie? Steve Martin. Exactly. You read my mind. Yesterday we were talking about Steve Martin, or you were talking about Steve Martin, and we finally got the clip. Every time we steal a clip, though, we get demonetized, but I don't care. So remember when you're a little kid? The way I think of it, it's kind of like humor. You develop antibodies against humor. Nothing is as funny to you as when you're like a 6th grader or a 7th grader. I used to get the worst giggles in my life when I was about that age. Yeah, me too. But the first time I ever saw Steve Martin was on the Muppet Show movie, or the Muppet movie, I think they call it. It was the first Muppet movie. And it's, it wouldn't be funny to me now if I saw this for the first time. But when this movie came out, I was too young. I had never really seen it's like a trope now, but the rude waiter bit. Yeah. So when I saw this clip from this movie, I was just rolling in the aisles. I thought it was the funniest thing I'd ever seen. So this is Steve Martin in the Muppet movie, and I want to talk about it.
I'm so sorry if I kept you waiting.
Oh, it was worth it.
How charming of you.
Oh.
I do still want to fight Miss Piggy, though. Yeah.
I took the liberty of ordering us some wine. Oh,
In the 80s, they weren't concerned about promoting drinking to children like they are today. So this is a little weird, but whatever.
waiter.
Here he comes.
Yes? May I help you?
The wine, please.
You mad impetuous thing, it's champagne.
Not exactly. Sparkling Muscatel, one of the finest wines of Idaho.
Well, you may serve us now, please.
Yeah.
Oh, may I?
I remember that became a bit in junior high where we just say, "Oh, may I?" to each other constantly. Anyway, okay.
Look how he does that.
Yeah. Very suave.
And the shorts. Yeah.
Don't you want to smell the bottle cap?
He's so condescending.
Smells good.
Yes.
Would you like to taste it first?
Well,
I think he's supposed to.
would you taste it for us, please?
Look at his face. Actually, it's still funny.
Excellent choice.
Should be for 95 cents. And may we have straws, please?
Yes, I expected that.
Miss Piggy and Kermit can't pick up cups.
That'll be all for now.
They're the wrong kind of hands.
Thank you very much.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Here's to you, Miss Piggy. Drink up.
He should have won a Academy Award that year. He should have. That was the funniest scene of my life. And I know it's dumb and childish, but, you know, Steve Martin. Oh, may I? he bows and backs away. That's so great. I don't know. Was sole mio. Who knew what a huge influence that movie would have had on our lives, though? I know, I think about that sometimes. You know, you never know when you're a kid which things in your life will kind of inspire you to do something. Like for us, Sesame Street, The Muppet Show, Labyrinth. You know, Joe Rogan and Owen Benjamin. These are all like, they all kind of contributed to this show. I don't know. Anyway, wherever you are, Steve Martin, we still remember. Rest in peace. I think he's still alive. He is? Yeah, I don't think he's died. Oh. Well, never mind then. Maybe he's watching the show. Hi, Steve. Anyway, so, you want to get up here? Sure. You want to get up on your own show? Yeah, fine. Up next, NanaBOOZHOO. But first, here's another song by the rock star cartoonist Michael Lyons. And, which one is this? We're doing Ain't No Sunshine When She's Gone. Oh, I love this song. This is Ain't No Sunshine When She's Gone by that dude. Who wrote this? I can't remember. Yeah, me either. Miigwechka Bizadawieg. Thank you for listening. I think that's the name of the song. Ain't no sunshine when she's gone. It's not warm when she's away. Ain't no sunshine when she's gone. This house just ain't no home anytime she goes away. Wonder this time where she's gone. Wonder if she's gone to stay. Ain't no sunshine when she's gone. This house just ain't no home anytime she goes away. And I know, 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 I know. Oh, leave your thing alone. Ain't no sunshine when she's gone. It's not warm when she's away. Ain't no sunshine when she's gone. This house just ain't no home anytime she goes away. Anytime she goes away. Anytime she goes away. Oh. Hey, where am I? Oh, hey, God, I can teleport you. All right, would you teleport me to that side of the room? You got it, baby. One to teleport. Make it so, number one. It's just so much easier than walking across the room. Yeah, you know, and we gotta use this teleporter, or it gets funky. It gets weird. Yeah, I know. Hey, everybody, BOOZHOO. How's it going? Anin, Eiji Eiayan. How are you? Mino onagoshin kakina awiya. Good evening, everybody. Everybody, baby. Everybody. Tonight, I would like to, I almost don't want to tell the story because it's like still summer outside. I know. Maybe I got to save. Here's the thing. Some of you might have heard, back in the days of the grandfathers, in a traditional Indian way, we don't like to, you're supposed to save the stories until the snow is on the ground. And we had one day where the snow was on the ground, so I told, like the flood story or something. But tonight I was going to tell the story of how Beaver got his tail and learned how to swim and learned how to quit bragging about his big fluffy tail or whatever. But it's awfully hot outside. I almost feel like we should go for an evening walk. You want to go for an evening walk after this? I would, but I'm kind of afraid of the street people. You think we're going to get mugged? Yeah, we might. Should I bring my gun? Can you bring your sidearm? Yeah, I'll bring my big old gun. Natasha's packing heat, you guys. Nah, I'm just kidding. We don't have any guns. The only reason I don't own guns, is that if we had a gun in this house, that'd be the most expensive thing we owned. That would be the only thing that would give the criminals a reason to break in and want to steal something. I mean, no one's going to come and steal my 20-year-old $500 Yamaha acoustic guitar, which is like the next most expensive thing I own. But if I started having guns in here, and people are like, hey, you know what? I should go in there and steal his gun. Then we got trouble. So, we're unarmed. All right, criminals? I mean, I know karate. You know karate? Oh, yeah, I've seen the Karate Kid like 6 times. You don't think I've practiced, the crane move? Learned how to wax off. Paint the floor. Wax the car. I learned all that. So don't mess with me. Anyway. Today is the Ojibwe phrase of the day. Ni miigwech wendam. I am thankful. Sweetie, I was watching your prayer on YouTube. Oh, really? Yeah. Did you know that when you pray outside, I can just tune into our channel and watch you? I did. Oh. But I thought you made some good points about gratitude. That's really important. I think gratitude should have been one of the 7 Anishinaabe teachings. Yeah, I'm surprised it's not. Gratitude is not one of the 7 Anishinaabe values. It really should be the only value. The only one? Yeah. If I was in charge, there wouldn't be 7 of them. There'd be 1. Be grateful. And shut up. What's the opposite of gratitude? Entitlement? Yeah, entitlement, I guess. Taking things for granted. That's what people never want to hear when you're really depressed. Because I know it was true for me. If you're depressed, the reason why you're depressed, it's not because you're a victim of anything. It's not because of anything other than you're taking your life for granted. You're taking your blessings for granted. You have no gratitude. You know. And, you see it with old people. My grandmother used to be very grateful for everything. I remember I used to look at her, and she'd be in her 80s. She had lost her memory, her marbles. She was, had heart issues, cancer, dementia, She went to a boarding school. She lived through the Depression. You don't get to be 80 years old without seeing most of your friends and family die one by one. And all she could do be like, oh, God's been so good to me. Like, really? I'd be pretty angry if I woke up suddenly and had all your problems. But she didn't. She was grateful. And so she was happy. And that's when I kind of learned. It's like, yeah, it's not about getting to become a rock star or becoming rich or looking cool or having cool friends or anything. It's just about being grateful for what you have. Yeah, that's what I learned in my old age. Yeah. So I don't know. I'm getting to the point where I no longer... This is what I know... a little thing that came to me when I was walking around the other day. It's like I'm finally living in a chapter in my life where I'm not hoping that something will happen. I'm just appreciating and, I'm trying to crush and grind and, create stuff and keep my life in order. Yeah. But when I was younger, it was all about, I hope someday my life will work out. And now I'm not waiting for someday. I'm like, okay, did it work out or didn't it? Am I a winner or a loser? Yeah. Sooner or later, you just got to ask yourself some hard questions. How did things turn out? On the other side of the midlife crisis. Yeah. Midlife crisis, they're different for everybody. Some people have a midlife crisis in their mid-20s. Like, where's my life going? A lot of people, it starts in their 30s, I had one when I was like 30 and then again at like 35 and then again at 40, I guess. I didn't mind 40 so much. My 30s were tough. But when you get too old to have a midlife crisis, I'm on the other side. Nobody lives to be 110. I'm not having a midlife crisis anymore. I'm too old. But on the other side of that, you got to ask yourself, okay, how did things turn out? What do you think of your life? What do you think of how, like Creator gave you and what you did with it? Did you screw it all up? Are you a loser? Or can you live with yourself? I remember asking myself that just a few years ago, and I went, well, you know what? No, I'm not Paul Stanley. But, pretty grateful for the way things turned out. Yeah. All things considered. I was like, yeah, okay. If I gotta check either yay or nay, I'm like, okay, yay. I can live with this. Yeah. Then again, all my dreams came true when I found you. Nah. You see that, fellas? You gotta talk like that to your woman sometimes. And she'll make you food. Yeah. I don't know. Okay, so let's not do that. What else we got on board then? We could... You want to talk about butterflies? Butterflies? Mamengwa? Yeah, and your special abilities? Oh, sure. Hello, children. My name is NANABOOZHOO. And I am what they call the Mamengwa Ogama. I am the butterfly king. I can just call butterflies, you know, like how Batman... Well, Batman doesn't really control bats. You know how like Aquaman can control fish? Yeah. I'm like that with butterflies. How come there's never been a butterfly man? Because anybody could beat him up. Yeah, he'd be all fragile and stuff. But I can call the butterflies. Watch this. Mamengwa. Ambe. Come. Yeah, there he is. Hey, fellas. What's going on? Bonjour, Mamengwa. I am the butterfly king. All right, disappear, you guys. All right, good. That was a lot of trouble to prepare for that. Hey, you know what I like, sweetie? What do you like? Our new title animation. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Look at this. Welcome back to BOOZHOO NANABOOZHOO. Glittery stuff. Ooh, look at that. We don't have to deal with that stupid title we had before. BOOZHOO NANABOOZHOO by Michael Lyons, the rock star cartoonist. What's one thing you're grateful for, Michael? I'm grateful that I live in Bemidji. What? Really? This place sucks. Yeah, but it's a pretty safe town. You know, we don't have any tarantulas. That's true. We don't have tarantulas or alligators. There's no alligators. Or Muslims. Hey! I'm just kidding. Hey, don't say that. Or Jews. I think Hitler's called in too many times. He's rubbing off on me. I don't know. Should we look for somebody to call? Sure. I could Google somebody's number. How about... Can you call... I don't know. You want to call the Pope? Sure, I'll call the Pope. It's Sunday. All right. You got him? Let me see. I got to Google it. Yep, here it is. I'm going to call the Pope of... wherever he's from. Of Catholicism? Yeah, of Catholicism. All right, it's ringing. Hello, Pope Francis. Hi, this is Natasha from the BOOZHOO NANABOOZHOO podcast. Yeah, about Ojibwe language. Say, we're doing an evening live stream podcast on YouTube. And NANABOOZHOO wanted to ask you some stuff. You think you got a minute for him? Oh, great. All right, hang on. I'm going to transfer you. All right, sweetie. The Pope of Catholic, Pope Francis is on line 2. Line 2, eh? Pope, welcome to the BOOZHOO NANABOOZHOO podcast. You're on the air. Hey, NANABOOZHOO. How you doing? Oh, I'm doing pretty good. I see you're wearing your headdress again. Yeah, when I heard you were calling, I thought, hey, I'm going to put on my headdress because I'm going to talk to a real Indian. And that's what I am now, too. BOOZHOO. BOOZHOO. Yeah, you look like a real shanob there. Say, can I ask you some questions about God and the Bible and life after death? Yeah, sure. I know all about that stuff. What happens when we die? I don't know. Lights out, man. You're just dead. Don't you go to heaven? You believe that stuff? No, man. You gotta believe in science. Believe in science? Yeah, man, science. They've disproved the Bible over and over again 1,000,000 times. Have they, though? Yeah, come on. Pick up a book. It's called The Big Bang. The Big Bang? Yeah, the Big Bang created everything. I thought God created everything. Well, you can call him God if you want, but it's mostly just the Big Bang. You know what I was thinking about the Big Bang today, sweetie? What's that? Most Christians, Bible Christians, they quietly don't believe in the Big Bang. And they'll say evolution, but they don't like to say it out loud to their friends, to non-believers, because they still believe in outer space and spinning planets and all that. Yeah. And I was thinking, yeah, it must be confusing when you fully believe in all the evidence for a Big Bang, but you reject the Big Bang based on the Bible. Yeah. What are you talking about, man? Well, you know how like outer space is fake? Outer space is fake? Yeah. That's science fiction. This idea that there's vast nothingness. And when we look up, we're looking into the blackness of nothing and stars or suns and all that. Oh, yeah. That was all just a deception. Right, exactly. Well, most people, even though they may not believe in the Big Bang and random chaos creating order, they still look up in the sky and they go, well, yeah, I do believe that there's an expanding universe of debris called planets and whatever, and black holes, and they trust these godless sodomites known as Darwin. And you know why MC squared means? What? Marry your cousin twice. Did you hear that, Pope? What's that about? About what's his name? Yeah, Einstein. Yeah, he married his cousin, and then he left his cousin for his other cousin. Yeah, and it was his cousin from both sides of his parents' family. That guy was messed up. And then he had like a cross-eyed kid because and abandoned him in like a home or something. Yeah, Einstein sucks. But he was the guy who came out with like, the theory of relativity and thought experiments. He was like the anti-scientist. Yeah. Anyway, so you know all about that? Yeah, I know about that stuff. I don't like to talk about it too much because, I make a lot of money being the Pope. Yeah, I'm sure you do. But what's the point? You don't even get to wear pants. I know, it sucks. I gotta wear this robe. I just want to wear some shorts and some basketball shoes. Yeah, I'm sure you do. But at least I got my headdress. Yeah, you have the headdress. Maybe I can join the village people. You could join the village people. I think they're looking for a new Indian guy. Yeah, that'd be all right with me. Hey, Nanaboozhoo, I gotta go. Why do you have to go? My wine glass is empty. I'm gonna go fill up the wine glass, get a cigarette, and sit back and watch the rest of your show. But how do you say goodbye in Ojibwe? Well, we don't really say goodbye, Pope. We say I will see you again. Gigawabamin, Minowa. Gigawabamin, Minowa, Nanaboozhoo. Yeah, you too, Pope. Gigawabamin, Minowa, Pope. Gigawabamin, Minowa, Natasha. I will see you again. Yep, very good, Pope. I'll see you again. The Pope, sweetie. Wow. I can't believe you can just Google his number. I know, that's insane. If you guys want to talk to the Pope like that, you just Google Pope home phone. Yeah, just home phone is right there. And he answers it. I guess I thought he would at least have a secretary. Yep, no, you just call. That's his personal line. Very accessible, this Pope. Hey, sweetie, Surrealist is here. Hey, bonjour, Surrealist. And Mindy Moya. What's going on, Mindy Moya? And Doc's back. Resme T, Bible. Basic instructions before leaving Earth. Yeah, I remember hearing that. The Bible. Basic instructions. The problem is it's hardly basic. That's a big book. Yeah, I wish the Bible was a little more basic. Tell me what to do, what not to do. Be clear about it. Don't tell me the history of the world and expect me to glean what God wants of me from this. Oh, what does the story of King David have to tell me? Actually, I heard this. The whole thing of Jesus? Yeah. I'm not going to be able to say this well. before Jesus, what the whole thing with Jesus was, Old Testament is the Torah. Christians and Jews have the same stories. And they kept waiting for the Messiah to come. And they thought the Messiah would be like another King David. They're expecting a king. When Jesus came to the earth, what he brought, and it's so obvious now that people don't even recognize it. Before Jesus, it was like the Pope, the pharaohs. They had a set of rules. They were higher, better than everybody else. They would, there was regular people, and then the pharaohs and the priests and all that. Jesus comes strolling in, a carpenter, and he says, No. You guys are not more special. Nobody's more special of all of God's children. And, by the way, don't be a hypocrite. He also came in saying, you guys cannot judge other people for what you're doing. He was, without sin, cast the first stone. Take the speck out of your own eye before you take the log out of, or take the log out of your own eye before you take the speck, whatever that is. Jesus came in saying that everybody can have a direct relationship with Gitchimanadu. You don't have to go through the Pharisees or the Pope. You don't have to. That's not the way it works. Jesus was a humble carpenter but was the king of over all the kings. And he said, no, man. There's my Father who art in heaven. And there's his children. There's not a hierarchy. There's no pyramid. And they didn't like it. And so that's always kind of been my complaint with the crucifixion. I've heard it said, it was like, yeah, that crucifixion, that's the Catholic Church showing everybody. It's like, this is what happens. Look at what we did to the last guy who came up against us. That's a warning. But a lot of the Christians I know get lost in the idea, oh yeah, but he came back to life. And so that way he was the sacrifice. He was the spotless lamb. I was like, what are you talking about? Oh, God requires a sacrifice, So he sent his only son to get killed. Like, is that why he sent him? I don't think that's why he sent him. I don't think he was like, you know what, I need a human sacrifice. I think I'll impregnate Mary and run my boy through all kinds of trouble. I kind of feel like that just happened. But Jesus being Jesus was like, healed himself. 3 days later, he comes out of the tomb. Hey, what's up? Look who's back. Look who's back. It's Wolverine healing from his wounds. High-fiving everybody. And then he said, be good, kids. Get off those dirty websites. Why don't you pray to your Father once in a while? And cheer up. He always said, you know what? This is the good news, by the way. Jesus didn't walk from town to town saying, hey, you guys, you're a bunch of sinners. You're all going to hell. Although he did say that a lot. Yeah. And he was like, you better watch out, rich people. It's actually tougher for you to get into heaven. But the meek shall inherit the earth. But he was also like, I'm going back, preparing a place for you. It's going to be all right. You're going to be fine. Everything's cool after this life. That's the good news. And then he flew away. He ascended. Yeah, he ascended. Talk about an exit. I'll see you again. flies up like Superman. Do you think it was like Superman? I think it's really fast. Yeah, I think it just shot up super fast. The Bible's not real specific on how fast Jesus ascended into heaven, but they do use the word ascend. They don't say he disappeared in a cloud of smoke. That dude ascended. He was like, all right, I'm going up. They're like, okay, see you later. How long until you come back? Oh, it's like, we can't hear you. Did he say 2 weeks? And here we sit, 2,000 years later. Ho hum. But I don't know. Anyway, these are some of my deep philosophical, religious musings on this Sunday night. Shirley says, the Big Bang is a good reason to get married, right, Pope? Yeah. Actually, I did hear once that the Big Bang is true. It's just the gross way of explaining the evolution of humanity. Because in the beginning, there was a Big Bang. Your dad, and your mom. And then, there was the primordial ooze. And there was an egg that turned into a fish, a little tadpole. Yeah. And that tadpole sprouted legs. And then pretty soon that it still had a tail. It looked like a monkey. All evolution, the whole thing takes place in your mom's tummy. You evolve from a little cell from the Big Bang. Probably listening to Journey one night. Your mom and dad were parking down by the lake, listening to Journey on the 8-track player. And 9 months later, and through the power of evolution, there's a baby. Maybe, baby, I'll have you. Maybe, baby, evolution's true. Maybe, baby. Yeah, so the Big Bang's true and evolution's true. It just all happens in 9 months. But otherwise, this place was created. Is what I believe. I gotta have faith, the faith, the faith. Baby, you know you're asking me to stay. Oh no, now please don't go away. I say I'm giving you the blues. Maybe. Who else is here? Mindy Moya. Bonjour, Mindy Moya. Hey, Tesoro de Tomas is back. Well, it's been a while. Hello, Tesoros. Bonjour, Tesoros. So nice to see you again. Speaking of resurrection. Yeah, speaking of resurrection, here's Tesoros back from the dead. There's a place that has everything we need and so much more, and you don't have to die to get there, said the earthling. Well, there's that whole debate too. Didn't Jesus say something about creating heaven on earth? That heaven is here? We have it, I don't think we got to wait to die. That all that. Jesus said something too about everything I do, you will do this and more. He was really kind of the original self-improvement guru. Yeah, he was a self-help guru. If Jesus was here today, he'd probably have a book on, the law of attraction. John Redcorn says, a starving man will eat with the wolves. That's true. I don't know what it means, but a starving man will eat a wolf. Would you eat a wolf? Oh, sure, I'll eat anything. Would you really? No, maybe not anything. Would you eat a squirrel? Probably. If I had, well, yeah, if I was hungry. Okay. Yeah, I'll pretty much eat anything. I don't care. When I'm hungry. La la. Anything worth doing is worth doing to excess, said Steven Tyler. Steven Tyler. Say what you will about Steven Tyler, but that guy's in great shape for, like 70-year-old man. Yeah. His heart. Same thing with Mick Jagger. Anytime somebody wants to talk about and I've done it myself. What? Criticize the Stones for being old and prunes, whatever. But Mick Jagger is seriously 95 years old. He's not that old. Well, pretty much. And he's got a better body than I do. Do you think so? Yeah, the guy's like ripped. He's got 0 body fat. He can still dance. I don't know. Must be all the adrenochrome. Yeah, it's probably adrenochrome. All right. What are you smiling at? Nothing. I'm just watching the show. Ladies and gentlemen, Michael Lyons is a rock star cartoonist. If you'd like to buy some of his books, comics, coloring books, they're all available at Amazon.com. And if you sign up on, Patreon, you can get the book Ojibwe Words and Phrases. For $20 a month, we'll send you this coffee cup, but I'm not going to wash it first. We're not going to send them that coffee cup. I thought they got a coffee cup for $20. Well, no, that's the BOOZHOO NANABOOZHOO coffee cup that we can't be bothered to get a picture of. Oh, right. We also have cups with our faces on them. Ugh, this coffee is cold, sweetie. Well, it's been sitting there all day. That's from this morning? Yeah, I didn't give you more coffee. Oh, brother. Hey, John Redcorn. Miigwech. Did John give us a super chat? He sure did. Miigwech, John. He says it's time to sweep the leg, Johnny. Sweep the leg, Johnny. Sweep the leg. No mercy. That's Cobra Kai's motto. That's my motto, too. Is that your motto? Yeah. Show no mercy. All right. Well, okay. What do you think? You got anything else you want to add? No, that's pretty good. Sweetie, you want to chime in the last minute? No, I just told him I said thanks. All right. Hey, everybody. Miigwech, Gabiz and Dawieg. Thank you for listening. And thank you for watching. Miigwech, Ganawabieg. BOOZHOO. Oh, wait. Gotta find my new animated title. Thank you for watching. BOOZHOO NANABOOZHOO, a podcast about Ojibwe language and culture. I am NANABOOZHOO, the Memengwa Ogama, the Butterfly King. Ombe Memengwa. This is Natasha. Miigwech. This is Michael Lyons. Thanks so much. We'll see you tomorrow. And I will see you again. Gi gawabamin mi nowa. Yeah. Good show. Yeah, you too, baby. Good enough. Good enough. See you tomorrow.